Hello everyone, it's Kari back with another video, and this time a little challenge for you. Today I had a bunch of things sitting on my desk, including these scraps of paper, a couple of little pigs that I had already colored from this stamp set called Some Pig, and some wax seals from the Postage Seal and Shaker collection from Missing Stamps. And I'm going to bring in this frame from Oh Happy Day and try to pull all of these things together into a card. So because I had these strips of paper, I thought I would start by just adding these strips to a background piece of really thin cardstock. This is all super thin. It's almost like computer paper because I want it to be thin enough so that I can cut it out with that frame. So I'm just going to use these papers. I have some different shades of pink, some really light yellow, and some peach colors of strips. And I thought, let's just make a little design out of these. We'll go with the peach and then pink and yellow, pink, yellow, pink, yellow, and then finally end up with the last peach paper strip. So I'm just going to add these together, and I'm using a tape roller to add this today. You could use liquid adhesive too, because that does give you a little bit of time to move them around if you need to. And once I had finished those, I noticed I wasn't going to have quite enough. So I found another yellow strip and another pink strip to add before I added my last peach colored cardstock. So by adding those, I will have enough to cut out this frame. Just like this, and that's going to look really cool as stripes for my background of my card. So I'm going to trim that out, and then I also cut it out in white so that the white could be the frame. But this frame die is so cool because it also cuts out this really thin frame. So you could cut that out in a different color if you wanted to. Today I'm going to leave it the same color as my strips. And I think that looks really neat with the pig on the front. Now the Postage Seal and Shaker collection also has these wax seals, the faux wax seals. I had them already cut out of pink, but I decided to cut them out with a blue shade because I have a really good idea for this. So I'm going to tape together the circle and the outside piece of this wax seal, and I'll cut that out 3 times. And then I'm going to remove the circle from the middle and cut the background. So you can see all of them cut here, which is what I'm shading right now. And I'm going to use some blue print sketch to make kind of a blue ribbon look. I'm just going to ink this on all of those pieces, just like this. And then I'm also going to ink it on that random piece that I have left over here. I'm going to use that to cut out some ribbons for kind of to hang down from my blue ribbon. So once I get all of those inked on, now I'll clean off my surface, and then I'm going to cut out those ribbons to hang down from kind of my ribbon, my blue ribbon. So this is like an award. Now to glue these together is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. I usually look for the 2 smaller bumps and line those up, and then it's really easy to layer those on top of each other. So I'm going to layer up these 3 right here, just like this. And I've chosen the darker one to put on the top. And then I'll put all of those on top of the background of the wax seal. This one right here. So see, I'm going to line those up, add a little bit of glue around the edge, and then put that right on top. And that's going to create our blue ribbon look. So I'll cut out the little tails of the ribbon with this extra piece here. I'm just using my Tim Holtz trimmer. Cut those out, and look how these are going to look. So this is just another use for that faux wax seal. I think it's a fun one. So we'll glue those on, and then I'm going to trim the edges of the tails just to make those the perfect length. So I'll let that dry for just a minute, and then I'll trim the tails. I couldn't decide which way to cut it, but that's going to look good right there. So look how cool that blue ribbon is looking. Now I searched through my stash to try to find the number 1 to put on this blue ribbon, and I couldn't find one, but guess what's going to work? My very favorite modern typeset frame alpha. So I pulled out this set, I cut it out of blue mirror cardstock with some sticker paper on the back so it turned into a sticker, and the L looks just like a 1. So I love that. Now I'm going to pull in this stamp set here. This is the Jungle Friends stamp set from Missing Stamps, and it has a really great sentiment that says, "I'm so glad to have a friend like you." And I thought that that would be perfect for this number 1 award, first place ribbon. I thought I might like to have a bale of hay for that little cute pig to sit on. And so I did stamp it out, and I colored it with some ink, just some distress ink in antique linen. And then I cut it out with the coordinating die. But then I decided that it was a little too large for this card. So I ended up not using it after all. But it might look cute just like that. But I really wanted to have a friend on here so that it could be like, "You're my number 1 friend," or "I'm so glad to have a friend like you." So I pulled in one of the other animal characters from the Some Pig stamp set, and we're going to put that just like that. Now to stamp the sentiment, I'm going to stamp it directly on my background. So I'm testing it out first with my piece of acrylic there, and then I'm going to really stamp it for real on one of those pink larger stripes. So that's going to look great like this. Now I'll go ahead and create that card base out of 110 cardstock. And once I put it on that white card base, I thought that it was just kind of disappearing. So I decided to cut the frame with some rose gold glitter cardstock. And the rose gold is really pretty with this because it brings out the pinks in it from the pinks in that striped background. And who doesn't love a little extra glitter for a best friend? I added that, and now I'm going to start adding everything else with liquid adhesive. I'll add that blue ribbon with the number 1 turned into a 1 from the letter L. And then I'll glue down our little characters here. And then I can add everything to that card base, but I thought it needed to be popped up a little. So I'm going to bring in some fun foam and cut it down to size to make that really pop off that background. That's going to look great like this. So I cut that down. I'm adding some liquid adhesive now, and then we'll add that to the back of our frame piece and then add the whole thing to our card base. If you have foam adhesive, you could use that as well. Sometimes when I'm adding larger pieces like this, I like to just bring in the fun foam because it is a little less expensive. So I'll do that. Add that just like that to the background. And there we go. That's going to finish off our card for today. How fun to bring together a card like this just using items already on my desk. So here's your challenge. If you have some pieces of cardstock on your desk already and some maybe colored images, could you bring them all together to turn into a card? It's a really fun challenge. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back real soon with more card making inspiration. Until then, happy crafting. Bye-bye.